I'm videoing it. It looks so cool. Look at the jewelry boxes.
And in the front of the building, too. In the fucking making. Aliens. It's an orb. We got an orb on video right now. A fucking orb. Unedited. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's on the surface of the water. It's on the surface of the water. It's just skimming across the water. It's not above the water. It's on. Oh!
Yeah. Oh, we back. Yes, sir. First, TikTok, actually Instagram, but compilation video live stream for you guys. I appreciate you guys rocking out, man. No Cap Conspiracy. Really haven't been dropping too much content on this channel over the years, but I'm really going to start ramping up on these TikTok and Instagram videos, conspiracy type videos, things going on in the world, things that seem kind of strange, seem kind of abnormal. Is it safe to go outside? Lightning, balls of lightning striking, all kind of stuff. So we're going to go into a couple of videos that I found online, some weird, the strange, the wacky. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be dropping these maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So stay tuned and, check out my other channels as well. I have a couple other channels, Boss Up with K, Credit K, everything you can find me on. But this is a no cap, so let's get to it.
Did you know that American Indians were once the tallest people in the world? And it's the reason why so many Black American basketball players are so tall today. When the Europeans arrived in the colonies, the American Indians towered over them. Being 6 foot tall was normal for the American Indian, while the average Spaniard was only 4'7". When the Spaniard Hernando de Soto met Chief Tuscaloosa, he was in awe of his stature because he stood nearly 7 feet tall. By the way, Tuscaloosa means black warrior. Most people say that the bulk of Black American ancestry comes from West Africa, but their average heights are 5'7" and below, while the average Black American male is 5'9". According to genetic testing, the reason why Black Americans became shorter is because of newly imported enslaved Africans. And this matches with the genetic testing that our American Indian ancestors were already here, and the Africans were brought over later to mix with us. So if you believe that Black Americans don't have American Indian ancestry, that means that you believe that Black Americans mutated significantly from their African brothers and sisters within a few generations. The American Indian ancestry must be the reason why so many Black Americans consistently make the Guinness Book of World Records for the tallest men in the world. The more you know. Did you?
Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting topic. Are we from Africa? Are we from America? What do you think? It's kind of crazy that it brought this many, 15 million, it was about 8 million during time of slavery over on ships. Definitely some people did come from Africa, but did all of us come from Africa? Or if we did all come from Africa, did we all come on slave ships? That's the question. That's what it is. I've definitely looked at De Soto and other Spaniards and Europeans when they came over from Europe, and they said that the native people were in fact copper colored, just like I am, and swarthy complexion, darker complexion. So I don't know. The truth will come out one day. Get back into it.
The moon is not following its natural order because it is the end times moon. All right, this is at 4:53 p.m. It's 10:32 p.m. and I just took this. Did it change phases? Like, how is this possible? Lots of us are seeing the moon looking like a smiley face, which is not and has not ever been a moon phase. And don't try to gaslight me or yourself. I've watched the moon my entire life. I have moon phase charts that I got years ago. These are the only moon phases. He said he saw this one day and this one the following day. In the Canon Bible, we know that the moon and the stars and the sun are for signs and for seasons, but I knew there had to be something more that linked this moon stuff to the end times. So I asked Taven, my favorite Bible app, to search all of the apocryphal texts, which are still a part of the Ethiopian Bible. Don't come for me. It's very interesting. It brings up 1 Enoch 80. In those days, the moon will change its order and will not appear at its proper time.
I'm watching the moon come up my tree, so it's rising, right? And then literally maybe 40 minutes later, tell me why the moon's already setting. Look what the moon has been doing. Y'all see, look how creepy that is.
Haven also gives a verse from 2nd Esdras. The moon shall be confounded or disorderly. The moon shall be troubled. I would say seeing the moon below you while you're flying definitely counts as being troubled. Enoch really puts emphasis on the moon bringing about all the signs of the year, and the moon becomes a sign of the seasons and a sign of the years and a sign of the days and a sign of the months. I just find it funny how every account of the moon being disorderly comes from the apocryphal texts that we're taught are fake, but we're seeing exactly that. I would say that the moon is a very important celestial indicator that Jesus is coming back. Most people don't even realize that there's signs outside of the blood moons that everybody's waiting for. Look up, you guys. Our redemption is drawing very, very near. The moon is not following.
They're saying the Lord is coming back. We're going back to the upper room when Jesus comes. So get your affairs in order, man. You believe this moon is looking kind of crazy? You even believe that the moon is hollow, or this a alien fear body or a heavenly body brought to us by the good Lord? We're going to find out soon enough.
6 beings that are going to come out of hiding after disclosure. Number 1 is Sasquatches. Large communities of them live everywhere. Some famous areas are the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains. Earth is essentially their home. There was a time in history when Native Americans lived symbiotically with them and were very respectful of their communities. But the European colonialists came and forced these beings into hiding. They considered the Native Americans animals and savages and considered the Sasquatches the same. Number 2 is merfolk and sirens. There was actually a time when merfolk tried to have a symbiotic relationship with humans, as they do with all life in the ocean. A lot of merfolk discovered humans, and those first humans were typically pirates. But you know how greedy ass humans do when they come across something they don't understand. They captured them, tortured them, and put them on display, and ate them, which is still done to this day. If that doesn't hurt your heart, you're not human. Number 3 is reptilians. There are so many types, and many of them see Earth as home and are very benevolent. They've been here since way before humans were even around. Some are malevolent from off Earth and have come here for an agenda. Millions walk among us, and many of them are in places that you would never think that they would be. The malevolent ones have done this on many other planets in the galaxy. Earth is just one that they want. Number 4, werewolves. These are beings that have a mix of human DNA and wolf/wolf extraterrestrial DNA. This allows them to change form, and there's so many tales on them, I don't even have to say nothing. You already know. They walk among us more than you know because they've been around for a long time. "100% of anything is 100% of something, but majority of them are benevolent." 6 beings that are going to come out of hiding after disclosure. Number 1 is Sasquatch.
Right angles and straight lines. So I started scanning the top of this plateau for other places where this geologic layer might have merged onto the surface, until finally I came upon the objects for which I've spent countless late nights searching for. Massive, almost geometrically perfect blocks of stone. So I went there and came to realize the most incredible part of this place was what lay in between the blocks, and left me convinced that this might be the coolest thing I've ever found on Google Earth. All right, good afternoon. We have arrived at the bottom of this mesa, and I'm pretty sure those giant stone blocks are somewhere up there. And now we're just trying to figure out how to get up there. I think I could take a path up those bentonite hills there on the left. What do you think, Timmy? You know, based on what I was seeing on Google Earth, they're huge. I mean, possibly some of the largest stone blocks I've ever found. And what I don't know is how deep they are, how far down they actually go. And I'm very excited to find out. Look at these ball concretions across the valley from us. Strange geology out here. Right angles and straight lines.
Crazy, that's crazy,
Now,
crazy.
the third type that got mentioned on mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the
Lizard people.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab environments. You know, not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation? Did anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No, the only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? But some people talk about reptilians. Do you realize that these are evil? Now, the other third type that got mentioned on mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab environments. Not a lot, but some.
All by themselves. They kind of look at.
It was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation? Did anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No, the only time I got any inkling was that when I was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil? Now, the other third type that got mentioned on mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites.
How's your phone work? Your cell phone, tell me how it works. This was the other dictionaries that I got from people over and over again. They're like, all you're doing is saying, how does your phone work? No, I'm trying to draw your attention to literal tech metrics. I don't know where my phone went. So that you understand how easy it is to log into you and make a change. So, how did we get to this point where all these good people in radio frequency, etc., they don't know shit about what we're actually doing in the human body? And in order to explain all of this, I've had to make a gazillion signs. I've had to come back out here over and over again. And I've been trying to figure out why it is that nobody else seems to know these things. Okay? This is my great uncle's folder from Shepherd Air Force Base. I often also show his Aberdeen Proving Ground stuff. That's my little folder at the moment. And then I also go over his hold notes with flux density notation with mercury and whatnot. Why? So that people understand that this has been going on for a really long time. So tell me how your phone works. When you click a button and you send an email, you don't see the email leave the phone. It's a wireless, invisible signal, just like your body. It's a body part. So when I work, how's your phone work? Your cell phone, tell me how it works. This was the other dictionaries that I got from people over and over again. They're like,
Man, shit's going in. I had to edit that one out. But yeah, so, people are affected by this little tool right here. You know, I kind of stopped sleeping with the phone by the bed at night. You know, who knows what they can do? You know, everybody experienced thinking about something or saying something out loud, and then you get an ad for it on your phone. Even get to a point, I don't have to say it out loud. I can just think it in my mind, and then I start to see the ads and stuff. It's really scary. So no telling what they're doing with these phones, these waves. So stay vigilant and make sure you're not downloading anything to your system. Let's get back to it.
The more I got into Tesla's work, the farther I got into cold electricity. So we have hot electricity right now. Everything that is around you, it heats everything up. And when Nikola Tesla discovered cold electricity, which is what you were talking about, those globes, they're all lit up on the ground, and all the lights are turned on, and he could send the electricity to anybody and not use this inefficient power lines and all this other garbage that we have, he was defunded. JP Morgan then burned down his lab, and things vanished. So, like you said, there was a lot of technology that used to exist, and I don't put it past me. At this point, I have seen so many things that I honestly have been mind blown. I mean, I've seen engines that don't even make sense in the 1800s that are, 1,000 feet tall, sitting there going, where is this? Nobody uses this. And all of these world fairs, like we were just talking about, they were showing people technology, and that could be there, right? Showing that they can clone or have orphans, whatever it may be. And then the people would never get this technology. But, Hershey's and Coca-Cola and Tiffany and Co. definitely got customers for life. That's when the beginning of those three companies came in 1893, because all the Masons and Oddfellows and all those other different societies held those world fairs, put things on display, and then to destroy them. The more I got into Tesla's work, the farther I got in.
Inside the Hollow Earth, been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer Earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials. They're from the lost tribes of Israel. Inside the Hollow Earth, been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer Earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials.
Get this. Scientists in Russia have confirmed that they now know what happens to you after you die. I'm not talking about your body, that's just fucking worm food, we all know that. I mean, your spirit, if you like, your consciousness. I read it on the Russian version of Google last night called Yandex. I don't know why this is not all over fucking media right now. I've not slept a wink. So, if you don't know, Russia's largest tech company, VladTech, spent the last 10 years creating an interface to your brain that somehow embeds a code into every atom of you. So when you die, they can then locate that code within you. And it's like an Apple AirTag, but on a more expensive, grander level. So they can basically see where your electricity, spirit, and memories go to. And they call it a SIC code, soul identity code or something like that. And what they just discovered was fucking mind-blowing. So the first volunteer who passed away, they followed his code, but lost it because it was travelling faster than anything they can record. An hour later, when the computers caught up and refreshed, if you like, the SIC code settled in another galaxy called, I've written it down somewhere, Jade's GS-Z140, which is over 1 billion light years away. It's one of the furthest galaxies that we know of. This is life-changing for us all as human beings. I cannot believe no one's talking about this. And apparently the scientists don't know why it stopped there. Do we all go there? you know, what's it doing there? I'm speechless. Get this. Scientists in Russia have confirmed that they now know what happens to you.
They know what happens to your soul. I've seen videos about the soul trap, about the moon is actually a harvester for your soul, and you get reincarnated into a different body. Or if your soul doesn't have a body, it just stays up there by the moon. So it's interesting, but this is saying your soul or something goes to a whole different dimension or universe light years away. That's wild. Real wild.
Let me get this straight, just so we're all on the same page. Celebrity Jamie Lee Curtis's kid, trans. Dwayne Wade, trans. Naomi Watts, trans. Megan Fox, non-binary and trans. Cher, trans. Cynthia Nixon, trans. Marlon Wayans, trans. Charlize Theron, trans. Heather Dubrow, trans. Annette Bening, trans. Kari Payton, trans. Jennifer Lopez, trans. Missy Phillips, trans. And now, Robert De Niro's son, trans. Must be something in Hollywood's water. Join my Discord to talk about it. Let me get this straight. Just so we're all on the same page. Celebrity Jamie Lee Curtis.
Wow.
This is Monument Valley on the corner of Utah and Arizona, United States. Now, if you notice, these are cut blocks in the ground. And I've been trying to tell y'all that ancient people had technology that they don't tell us about. So how did these blocks happen naturally? I know there's going to be someone that drops in the comments and defends the matrix programming to try to explain how this is natural. These cuts, look at that cut. Look at these cuts all throughout the land here. You can see it's pre-cut. Y'all are seeing what I'm seeing, right? These cuts, it starts at the edge, and then it goes all the way through here, even down up in here. And on the right side where my finger can't see my finger, but over there too. This looks like somebody took a pizza cutter and just pre-sliced the pizza. So you just grab your piece. That's what that looks like. This is pre-flood. The reason why we know it's pre-flood is because there are fossilized sea creatures all up in this whole area on these rocks, these cubes and stuff. So they were building something back then. And then the flood came. And this is the evidence. This is not natural. This is not natural. Okay? Let's continue. We wouldn't even know about this unless this independent guy found this stuff. This is a cube. Look at those dimensions. Right angles. How did they do this? How did they do this? How did they cut the earth like that? Laser technology, people. I'm trying to tell you, ancient people had mad tech. And we're impressed with the iPhone. Okay? They cut the earth like this. And it's like, what were they building? Stuff like the pyramids and stuff, monoliths is what they were building. So what is the point of this video? The point of this video is to get you to question the mainstream information and question what you're being told. Because they conveniently forgot to tell us about this in school. They skipped that part. All right. Intelligent human beings, probably with the Nephilim giants, were cutting these blocks out to build monoliths and temples and all kinds of stuff back in the day. But they didn't tell us about this. Why? Why are they hiding that? Question what you're being told. My natural position, if I hear some major story, something happened and it was caused by this, I immediately doubt the cause. I immediately doubt the reason as to why it happened. Okay. And they're going to tell you the pyramids were built by hand chiseling rocks out of the mountainside, perfect cubes to build the pyramids and stuff like that. No, they used technology like lasers. And who knows how they hoisted these up? They probably had some anti-gravity stuff. We don't know because they won't tell us. This is Monument.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-wee. Now, we all know nature does not make straight lines. It is impossible. If you look at anything naturally made in nature by God, it's always curves. It's always, you know what I mean? Nothing in nature is straight. Nothing in nature is right angle. So this is definitely something man-made. Looking at one of the comments, somebody, this is the where Cell from Dragon Ball Z got his stuff to make his arena from. The conversation is always funny on these. But let's get back in the
Valley.
All right, so that is it. That is the compilation for today. I appreciate y'all guys rocking with me. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. No Cap Conspiracy. This is the real No Cap Conspiracy channel. Just figured out another one out there, but go to stick with this one. No Cap Conspiracy. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. We got over 60 videos on this channel. And we're going to ramp up even more of these compilations in 2025. Thank you for coming, family. Peace out. Stay safe.